Right on time.
Yes.
Welcome
Again.
Welcome to a special Mother's Day edition of wow, I was going to go wrong. The Eternal Baseball Podcast. And since we're here, that means we owe a special thank you to our wives and who are mothers as well for letting us do the Eternal Baseball Podcast on their day. So
Yes. We owe them big thanks. And they owe us thanks because they couldn't be mothers without us, right? So there's some reciprocity there, right?
We had a hand in that or something. So I know we're supposed to be wearing all pink today. Some of the stuff today, like I don't know if you saw any of the Yankee highlights today. Like Gary Sanchez, every bit of his catcher's equipment was neon pink.
Was it?
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, it was really something. And I know it's a very cool thing they do, and then they auction it off and raise money for I think it's breast cancer awareness, hence the pink, and for Mother's Day. So it's a cool thing. But pink socks and pink wristbands and pink bats, that's all good. But I mean, Sanchez looked like like 800 pieces of chewed bubble gum back there today, which might help him block pitches better. But it was really something today. So, but yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. To both our wives and our moms. One of whom was my soccer coach growing up. So appreciate that as well.
SOS.
There
Soccer's
we go.
our sport.
That's it. So we had a good week of Eternal Baseball this week, and kind of 4 notable things that happened, and we'll get into all of them. But let me get my screen shared here, and we'll look back at the week that was. Share screen. Make sure to share the audio, of course. And just like that.
All right.
Magic. We'll get this a little zoomed up and zoomed in. So looking at the week that was, you know what? It's getting so far out there. I can do my, I don't know if I want to shrink it Excel-wise, but I'll zoom in at least. So looking here at our teams, there is no team hotter in Eternal Baseball than the Atlanta Braves, who followed up last week's 6-0 week with another 6-0 week. So 12 wins in a row for Atlanta. So they're starting to take control there in the National League South. Other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of dominant teams continuing dominance or terrible teams continuing to be terrible. It was just kind of a mixed bag this week. The Diamondbacks cooled off considerably, which is helping Atlanta make room in that National League South. That 1-5 week is gonna haunt Arizona, I think. The Cubs, who had been hot and were rough last week, turned it back around with a 5-1 week, and they're in that National League North, which is the best division for competitiveness, where St. Louis has a small lead over, I think Pittsburgh is like 3 games back, and the Cubs are 4 games back. So that's our most competitive division. I do wish we had more competitive races right now, but that one for sure is the one to watch. White Sox and the Reds, who were warming up, had a rough week, and that cooled them down. Tigers had a good week, and the Giants look to be back in form. They're just getting there. Look at their shortstop, Travis Jackson, back tomorrow, but they just lost Kevin Mitchell for a couple weeks with all it says is toe. So I don't know if he sprained it. I don't know if he broke it. I don't know if it got shot off in some strange incident. Kevin Mitchell had a dark side, but anyway, they're getting back online. And one of the funny things from an injury standpoint, I watched I think Washington and the Expos had a series this week. And if Eternal Baseball was a real thing, the Nationals, who don't have a traditional rival, really, I mean, they haven't been around that long, right? But there'd be no bigger blood feud than Montreal, Washington, right? You tried to steal my franchise, but we're back from the dead. And so I was checking it out, and they have at least Trey Turner is hurt. And I think maybe their third baseman is hurt too. Because the game I watched, man, they rolled out Victor Robles at third base and Jason Worth at shortstop.
Whoa, man, they're a little short-handed.
They are a little. Now remember, this is no, yeah, I would say the poor Nationals, but the poor Nationals are only drawing on rosters since 2005, right? When they became the Nationals, because they don't have access to any Expos players. So they have the toughest row to hoe, really, for any team in Eternal Baseball. And it's uphill sledding, essentially, for the Nationals. So Jason Worth and Victor Robles were doing yeoman's work there on the infield. But
I can't imagine Jason Worth patrolling shortstop. But.
Well, and it begs the question, like, who's in the outfield, right? I guess they still have Harper and they have Soto, right? And so it's funny that I thought Washington would have a puncher's chance, at least because of Washington, Soto, Scherzer, Strasburg, right? There's some real luminaries there, but there's just zero depth. So anytime somebody gets hurt, they are just hosed. And they're running out guys like Nick Johnson at first base, shared time with Zimmerman. And it's I'm glad they got their title a couple of years ago, because I'm not seeing an Eternal Baseball title in their future. But you know, hope springs eternal. There's always next year.
There's always that 5-6+ year that the computer randomizes, right?
Right. Yeah. Everybody.
Rendon hits, 430, and
everybody's going to have to be up for the Nats to make a charge, I think. But that's baseball, Suzyn. Oh, that was my completely non sequitur. Listening to the Yankee game on Saturday, and I'm going to blow the guy's name. He was the guy who closed out the World Series for the Nationals, former Diamondback starter, now reliever.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I'll just look him up, because I tried to do this earlier and I totally blanked on the name. So
that's what you get when you have two guys well north of 40.
Right?
Memories, man.
I thought his first name started with a D. Let's see here. He's not even on here. Oh, he's a Diamondback, I bet. In Eternal Baseball, because that's where his true glory years were. He was a really good starter, but then I think he had Tommy John and some other stuff. So say hello to Daniel Hudson. That's what I'm looking for.
Hallelujah.
So, Hudson comes on and pitches the 8th. This was the game Saturday where Scherzer struck out 14, right? And the Yanks were just, waving like fans at him at the plate. So he left leading 2-1. And then in the 8th, I think Hudson took over and did fine, got through the inning. And then in the 9th, Yankees got a runner on. This is against Brad Hand. The closer has come in. So they go into the whole Brad Hand stuff, really good reliever, but signed late this year because the market was down and has struggled against New York. So they do all this. First guy gets on and Stanton comes up, and who's red hot right now. And Suzyn Waldman, one of the radio voices of the Yankees, who's a frustrating listen, let's just leave it at that, said to John Sterling, John, Stanton has only faced Hudson once and homered off of him. I bet Hudson remembers that too. And I'm like, that's a really good point, Suzyn. Except that's not Hudson on the mound. That's Brad Hand. We just talked about this, right? It's just not the same pitcher. So the whole anecdote is neither cute nor helpful in this situation. And John Sterling, being a 50-year radio pro, just let it go. Didn't mention it at all.
Just let it slide.
Somebody might be tuning in like right after it happened, and you don't want them to fall into the apology, right? And some people missed it, but not many, because it's not Daniel Hudson. You just told us it was Brad Hand. So anyway, that's my non sequitur story for the week. But I'm
gonna assume your impersonation was spot on too. Like I haven't heard her speak, but
Suzyn, yeah, she's past her prime as a broadcaster. But I guess in fairness to them, it was supposed to be a 1:00 start, and it got like a 2.5 hour rain delay. And then, but again, it's an afternoon game. It's not like a night game where you're now going to get home at 2 a.m., right? And then it had the threat of going to extra innings. And even with the runner on second, you know, the one thing every broadcaster fears is overtime, right? They don't get paid any more for it. And, you know, as much as it feels like they're rooting for their home team, they're really just rooting for a quick game and let's get home. So you never seen, I saw it a couple times when I was working for sports radio, when you were at a game live and you would see the home team tie it up in the third period, right, or the bottom of the ninth. And you would see the broadcasters go, oh,
just slump.
Man, not making that dinner reservation. No, you're not. No, you're not. I get it. You know, we're all fans, but they do every game. So, and especially in baseball, there's 162. There's, you know, at least until the last month, there isn't one game you can't afford to lose. So, anyway. So yeah, that was my Saturday listening to Suzyn tell me about tell me nothing about Stanton and Brad Hand.
But this is radio or this is TV?
Radio.
Okay.
Yeah, the actual matchup at that time. But Daniel Hudson gave up a home run that he'll never forget. So anyway, we had three things this week I wanted to bring up, and so I got the box scores up and ready. And I think I can zoom in even make it a little bigger. So this is on Thursday. So it was an Astros no-hitter in Eternal Baseball. And it wasn't Nolan Ryan because he plays for the Angels. And it was a combined no-hitter. And they don't happen that. I mean, what do you think the ratio is on no-hitters for them to be a solo guy versus a combined effort?
Oh, it's got to be 10-1.
Yeah, like the combined one doesn't happen very often. Because why would you pull that starter, right?
Yeah, unless they were really, their pitch count was absurd.
Yeah,
or if they just came back from injury. Sometimes you see that.
That happened one time with Cone when he was coming back from his the aneurysm in his pitching shoulder. He had a perfect game through 7, I think. It was Yankees at Oakland. And essentially, he said, Torrey came out and said to him, you're at 89 pitches, right? I'll give you 15 pitches for the last 2 innings. That's it. Like, here's your rope. Because if I leave you in, you know, as we're headed, it was late, you know, I think it was like 2/3 of the way through the season. We're getting you back for the playoffs. You're healthy. You're throwing great. And if I blow your arm out, first game back because you're chasing this perfect game, I'm the idiot, not you, me. So I think Code had to find more of the plate and hope for grounders, and I think somebody singled off him, but certainly don't want to see it. And so, but I also thought about it when I saw this. So it was J.R. Richard, who's a fantastic pitcher, who's often overlooked because his career was shorter. Houston's, I think, unquestioned ace in Eternal Baseball. And then Joe Sambito pitched the last 2 innings to get out of it. But in the 9th, there was a runner on first. A 1-0 game also, you know, increases that tension a little bit. Runner on first, and Arizona pinch ran Orlando Hudson for Peralta. And he managed to get a tap out from Marte to end it. But I was just thinking about it, like, what's that pressure like as a reliever coming in to finish the not perfect game, but the no-hitter? Like,
you know, I saw some old. I was looking at some of those old cards of Joe Sambito, and he doesn't look like a guy that would be fazed by that pressure at all.
Right. Seemed pretty laid back.
Yeah, I was gonna say he looks pretty SoCal. I'm sure he probably wasn't from SoCal, but he has that look.
So we were all.
But Ian Kennedy went 9-2.
Right, and Kennedy has thrown real well.
Dude, he is dealing since he got added to the staff.
Since we found him, right? Because he was AWOL for the first like 2 months of the season. Literally, the computer couldn't find him because he was listed as a starter, but still had a pitch cap of 40 because he was most recently a reliever, still is, right? So, Eagle Eye Diamondback fan said, "How come Kennedy never starts?" And so it looks like he's taken that promotion well, or he's just the best rested starter in Eternal Baseball because he had 2 months off.
Yeah, there you go. That might be something to that.
So we all became Astros fan for one day. I'm glad that we could bring baseball together as they took out the Diamondbacks. The other two, one I was watching closely, as we've said, I'm a Yankee fan, and they went nuts on Texas yesterday. So to the tune of 21-1. And the bummer for me was Texas got one in the ninth. Like, oh, like I would rather see my team win 12-0 than 19-1, right? Because it gives the impression that if you just played more baseball, the other team never would have scored, right? So 21-1, pretty impressive. And one of the things to note, if you've been watching the Yankee box scores, Joe Gordon got added to the roster because Bernie Williams stopped hitting. Joe Gordon was a really good second baseman in the late 40s, early 50s, Hall of Fame guy, nicknamed Flash. And that was really cool in the 50s, let me tell you, for Flash Gordon to be playing second base. But it's A-Rod who's just not really hitting. You see him here at 234.
Wow.
And the Yanks are real thin traditionally at third base. Like they have 3 or 4 Hall of Famers at every other position and an unbelievable run of catchers, right? But which is where it's hard to find talent. But third base, there's A-Rod, and Greg Nettles was okay, or good. I'll dismiss Greg Nettles, but by eternal baseball standards, Nettles doesn't even make the Yankees 40-man roster. So Gordon came up because their starting second baseman, Tony Lazzeri, plays an league average third base defensively. So I thought, okay, with Lazzeri over at third, if Gordon hits, or Gleyber Torres could get some time at second base, and A-Rod could get some pine time to sort it out. Gordon's actually been really good, and he was really good here, as well as Mickey Mantle, who is finally swinging the bat like Mickey Mantle and was one of our players of the day here with 3 hits and 6 RBIs. So as a Yankee fan, I was a proud papa sitting on that 21-1. And then the Tigers today were like, hold my beer. Look at that. Like,
wow.
Poor Seattle took on the chin to the tune of 24-5.
Dude, those pitching lines.
That's what I love.
Poor Arthur Rhodes, man.
It's just like throwing dynamite into the ERA room, right? Like, looking at Arthur Rhodes. He must have been having an amazing season, right?
To stay at 3.26.
He gave up 7 in an inning and 2/3, still got a 3.26 coming out of it. So he must have been lights out coming in. He was definitely lights out going out. And Marco Gonzalez, who's, probably their ace right now, like, this was just a bad day all around if you're a Mariner. Although they did score some runs off Al Newhouser, who's one of Detroit's better pitchers. But this actually caused some consternation among Tiger fans online because there's no way Miguel Cabrera is not our player of the day today, or one of them, with a 6-for-7 afternoon, 6 RBI, 4 run, and my 4 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, and my favorite stat: nobody left on base. Right? He was at bat 7 times for a team that had 26 hits, and he left nobody on base ever all day. So we posted this up today, and a Tiger fan misread it and thought it was what actually happened today in Major League Baseball. We caught a little guff for that. But in his defense, he said, I'm a struggling Tiger fan right now, kind of hoping I live long enough to see them competitive again. And I said, you know what? They're leading the AL North by 7 games in eternal baseball. So I got a spot for you. There's room on the bandwagon if you're struggling up there in Michigan. So those were our notable games. We talked a little bit about the injuries. I do want to get a plug in for our newsletter, which you can sign up for at eternalbaseball.com. Goes out on Friday and always has some unique content in it. So this week we were looking at stolen bases, because I love stolen bases. Always a big Ricky Henderson fan. And there's a couple guys that are on pace to crack 100 steals on the year, which would be
that's awesome.
So it'd be so good just for everybody's baseball soul, because whoever leads the leagues this year in Major League Baseball is going to have like what, 40?
Maybe
30?
60 if someone really. Yeah.
Nobody steals anymore.
It's not the same.
No, it's
Vince Coleman, Ricky Henderson, man. Like, those were the years.
Like, you would even have guys who were great but not phenomenal, right? Your Kenny Loftons or your sluggers who would still steal 20 just by paying attention, right? And
yeah.
And it's just a dead part of baseball right now.
I mean, even Jose Canseco, man, just
right. Like, I think he might have been too dumb not to run, but yeah, I don't know. I miss it. Not to play old man, and baseball's not the way it should be. But I do miss the running game. But it's all over, which is funny because these are also the best catchers of all time. And I'll be watching Oakland games and hoping that Ricky will run, but sometimes he's playing Texas, and that's in his prime. Vaughn Rodriguez back there, right? Yeah. Like, and you're
on Pudge, man.
I don't care. I'll watch him go. I don't care. What do I care? He led the league in caught stealing too that year. He swiped 130, got caught 56 times. So that was a good year on the base paths. The other thing we looked at in the newsletter was hit streaks on the year. Because at the time, Detroit's Harry Heilmann, who's a fantastic player from the 20s, had a 23-game hit streak. And the record on the year is held by two guys, Anthony Rendon of the Nationals, Matt Holliday of the Rockies. Both have had 25-game hit streaks. And, small update here, Heilmann did tie them today in that, everybody had 3 hits against the Mariners today in that Detroit game. So Harry has tied the season lead with a 25-game hit streak.
I think we're going to get a 40-game streak, man. I am optimistic about it.
It would really be something to set a streak record or, a notable streak. Because look who you're batting against every day, right? Like, it's pretty impressive. So keep an eye on Harry Heilmann and check those box scores tomorrow. And see if Detroit's Harry Heilmann gets to 26. I think in real ball, I pay attention when they get to 30, right? Like that's every 5 years maybe a guy will climb up in that territory.
Yeah.
So
you remember that Mulder streak, right?
That was the first one that I really paid attention to.
That was a big deal back in the day. There wasn't a whole lot else going on at that point, so.
Yeah, and Molitor was, I think, an underappreciated player nationally, right? Played for Milwaukee and, kind of quiet and rather unassuming. But, we were all baseball card collectors at that point. And when Molitor got to, 33, 34 games, we were all digging through our commons going, do I have any Molitors in here? Right?
Right. Put it in your binder.
Yeah. Here's that bum Cecil Fielder for Toronto that never turned out. But yeah, and one of the things I like about hit streaks is it does take, obviously consistency to do it, but going 1 for 4 is nothing to write home about. So anybody could do it. You just have to do it every day, right? That's the grind of it. And I like, the guys that get into the 20s and 30s sometimes are Billy Hatcher, right? And you're like, how is Billy Hatcher doing this and Wade Boggs isn't?
Right.
But that's kind of how it goes. But it does kind of even out as the streaks get longer. There aren't any scrubs, I don't think, with like 40-game hit streaks or late 30s. Eventually, your talent, the talent shines through or wears down. But I like that the game keeps track of those, and we'll keep track of old Harry Heilmann and how he's doing. So that brings us to our game of the week. This is our first game that'll feature a team that's been on the podcast before. We always try to get a matchup that's 2 teams who haven't played yet. And I think there's 10. I have them written down here somewhere. Yeah, somewhere. But we don't have any matchups this weekend that feature 2 teams that haven't been on. So we took the best matchup by far of the weekend. And that's the AL South leading Birmingham Knights with an 18-game lead down south against the Boston Red Sox, who have led the East most of the year and are currently tied with the Yankees. And the Yankees got the benefit of this weekend scheduling because they're playing Texas, who's not very good. Boston's hosting Birmingham, and the Knights have won the first 2 games of that set. And if you're unfamiliar with Birmingham, when we built the league, we had 30 major league franchises. We knew we wanted to bring back the Expos. We had 1 empty slot that we considered for the all-time Senators team, but Washington's already got a replacement franchise for the Senators, and the Senators weren't very good. So we divvied those Senators franchises up. The vintage Senators became Twins, because that's where the franchise went. And the second version of the Senators became Texas Rangers, although there's only a couple guys who bled over onto that Rangers roster. And we created a new team called the Birmingham Knights. And it's the best players from the history of the Negro Leagues. And it's one of my very favorite things about Eternal Baseball is just watching the games play out and reading the box scores and seeing what these absolute titans of the sport would have done against major league talent, the best major league talent every night. And so we had our friend Jay Gonzo did us up a slick logo for the Knights, and they are rolling.
It's an amazing logo. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the logo, and they're playing really, really well. And part of what makes them dangerous is, I mean, they all, the time of the Negro Leagues was like 1910 through 1950-ish. And I think 4 of their really good players are pitchers and fielders, too. So they have like 4 Otanis on their regular day. It's like Little League, right? Where they can call Bullet Rogan in from right to pitch and then send him back out and then call Cristobal Toriente in from third. He pitches an inning and then put him back at third base. Where they would be a nightmare is as a National League club. But as an American League club, they got the DH to clog things up a little bit. So anyway, I've watched a bunch of Birmingham games this year. They're really fun to watch. And the one thing, I think if people are not real familiar with Negro League baseball, the 2 names they probably know are Satchel Paige, their best pitcher by 100 miles, who leads our whole league in strikeouts by nearly 50 strikeouts over Pedro Martinez and Randy Johnson. So that gives you an idea of the quality that he brought. And then there's also Josh Gibson, who's been referred to as the Black Babe Ruth. He's a catcher and an incredible ball player and a guy who's actually scuffled most of the year. His numbers aren't what you would expect. So he still plays. He's just way down in their lineup. But if he catches fire, or more likely in a second season, if he has, it feels like this is a guy who may have a modifier on him this year. Every player in Eternal Baseball can be up or down 30% off their entered stats. Just like, that's one of the reasons we like this sim, just like real baseball. Sometimes guys just have a down year. He's having a down year, and they're still incredible. So for those of you who know the history of the Negro Leagues, he'll probably bat 7th or 8th, and save your email. That's where he is because of how he's hitting this year. It's not reflective of his talent level at all. So,
a couple quick comments from
oh yeah.
And then we'll have to actually, is that something you actually do on the other broadcast, or
it isn't? But if we do it, they'll probably steal it. So if we can find some quality singing cats, I think we could incorporate that. Maybe when we win. We have lost, 3 in a row?
Who's keeping track at this point, right?
We lost 5, won 3, lost 3.
This is our 12th podcast. Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to get them tonight. So for all our pals out there who know me well, Seth and Chris particularly, I know you're going to enjoy watching me root for the Red Sox tonight. So, which is a really rare thing. But welcome to Fenway Park. Have you ever been to Fenway, bro?
I have. Yeah, I happened to see Clemens. It was, I think I told you a while back. It was that time that Gehrig's Ripken broke Gehrig's record that same night.
Oh, yeah.
but I was in Fenway, and they give him like a 5-minute standing ovation. And Clemens pitched.
That's pretty slick.
It was good. It was fun. I walked in there. I was like, man, I really hope it's when Tim Wakefield was kind of slinging his knuckleball. Really kind of showed up on the scene. I was like, man, I really want to see Wakefield. And then I looked. I was like, 21. It's like, who's 21? It's like, oh, well, I guess that'll suffice. I guess.
Yeah, that'll do. That's fine. No, it's pretty good if you're only in town for one game and you fall into a Roger Clemens start.
Yeah, versus like, I don't know, Bob Stanley or
Dana Kicker. Or who else was bad for those late 90s Sox?
Yeah, I try to remember.
All right, so here we go. We're going to be Boston. Oh, I got to make sure I do large icons, font size. I did monkey.
We know our demographic.
Right? I did monkey with Boston's labeling on the field, so hopefully that blue on red is showing up. So... it's Willie Foster. I thought it was going to be Bullet Rogan tonight for the Knights, but we're not in charge of them. So versus lefties, let's see what Boston might be loading up. I know that, let's see. So this is how they're expected to come out, but we'll take a look at how they're actually doing. Poor Bobby Doerr has an unbelievable OPS this year, over 1,000, but he's only gotten 42 at bats, and he's inactive right now. So he's screaming for Pedroia's job, but probably not going to happen. So they've got Yastrzemski sitting, I think, because he's a left-hander. They're playing Betts in center field, and Betts is highly rated in center. I think he would have been a center fielder in Boston if it hadn't been for Jackie Bradley. So there ain't nothing wrong with Mookie Betts in center. But, Yaz didn't sit against lefties, like, ever. Maybe at the end. But I have a hard time sitting Yastrzemski. But if we play him, we got to sit somebody else or, Ramirez is a DH. Well, you're not moving Williams out of left. I guess it would be for Betts. Well, Betts is having a better year than he is.
Yeah.
From an OPS.
How's JD doing?
JD is he's in right. Yeah, this might be it. JD, Martinez is fourth, but he's down here at 773.
Let's do it.
So Yastrzemski will go in for JD. We'll play Yastrzemski in center, I think, and Betts in right. Wait a minute. Yastrzemski in center, Betts in right. Yeah, I love it when you see a 10 pop up, right? I've seen a couple of Red Sox games, and Betts misses nothing. So,
and a lot of Red Sox hate tonight here.
Yeah, my friends, the Azaris are from New York, so
let's see
what they're going to watch me squirm a little bit. So I'm trying to think if there's anybody else missing here. Ortiz is sitting, but against lefties, his numbers aren't as good as Mo, and he's not as good a defender as Mo Vaughn. People forget, Red Sox fans forget what an absolute terror Mo Vaughn was. And they got out at the right time, right? He didn't do much in Anaheim other than get hurt. And they never paid him that gigantic contract. So they smelled it and got out at the right time. But, man, they forget. When we first put up the lineups, showed the starting 9, it had Vaughn on it and not Ortiz because there's no DH on those, right? It was a starting 8 plus a pitcher. And Mo Vaughn was on it and Poppy wasn't. And Red Sox fans went nuts. And I went, I know you guys love David Ortiz, but you're forgetting how good. Same thing with Nomar, right? They're like, how is Nomar up there? I'm like, are you forgetting 370 Nomar, right? Like, I know you got rid of him and won the title right away. I understand it, but I guarantee every one of those guys has a dusty 5 hanging in their, closet somewhere, or a Nomar shirt or something. So, anyway, it looks like the rest of this shakes out pretty well.
No Sam Horn, man. What's going on?
Right? No Sam Horn. Judge had one of those this week. Well, he was 0 for 4. 4 strikeouts, and then the next day he struck out his first 2 at bats. So he had 6 consecutive Ks. I guess that's the judge now, but we look pretty good here. Pitching wise, I think it's Clemens' day, and he has been their best pitcher anyway from a starting perspective with a 2.30. So
sounds good.
We are going to get a good dose of Roger Clemens, and with that, I think we're ready to play.
Welcome to Fenway Park for tonight's game between Birmingham and Boston. It promises to be a battle between 2 solid teams. Willie Foster starts for Birmingham. He's made 12 starts on the year and is 8-3 with an earned run average of 3.62. His first start against Boston. He'll be opposed by Roger Clemens for Boston. He's made 14 starts on the year and is 8-4 with an earned run average of 2.30. His first start against Birmingham. Boston left fielder Ted Williams is riding an 11-game hitting streak. It's 67 degrees, wind speed 12 miles per hour, right to left, and we have light rain. Pitching for Boston, Roger Clemens. Leading off for Birmingham, second baseman, Nude Allen.
Play ball!
All right, so going around it, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Red Sox fan, right? But who doesn't love Ted Williams, right? I mean, come on. Yaz, Mookie, for now. A couple years from now, he'll be a Dodger, but it takes a while for him to become more Dodger than Red Sox. Boggs at third, Nomar, Pedroia, Vaughn, Clemens. I mean, one thing, if you're a Red Sox fan, because they kind of have a history of their big stars either getting traded away or leaving. You gotta, once they're retired, you can't still be mad at them, right? Because if you really have that axe, you'd be mad at Mookie, Mo, Nomar, Wade, and Roger from this lineup today.
I think it was mainly going to the ones that went to the Yankees, right? But once they started winning titles, I would have to assume that sort of diminished some, right?
I think that I get the Boggs stuff, right? Like he left and now he's winning titles over there, and I get it, and Clemens too. But yeah, I would think that would have softened a little bit. But
I mean, you saw what happened with Jacoby, right? I mean, they were such a collective. I don't know, just whatever.
And in the end, they were thrilled he left and went there. Eat their payroll for a while, right?
Woo. He had so many good years though with the Bo Sox.
Is
he on their bench? Did he even make their bench?
I don't think he made their bench. Boston's it's a tough team to make, right?
Wow.
They're so deep. Like Jim Rice is in their minors, so it's a tough team to make. So here we go. Lineup's a little different than I normally see from Birmingham. This guy Allen doesn't play very much. Neither does Suttles. So we'll see how that goes. The guys to really watch are their shortstop, Willie Wells. And we talked about Gibson, who's playing at third today, which is interesting. He's valuable all over the place. Normally he catches, though. But anyway, it's time for baseball. It's creepy for me to be rooting for Boston, right? Even though Justin Pedroia, Sun Devil baby. So we got that going for us.
Center fielder, Mule Suttles.
I'm willing to bet Mule wasn't his Christian name, but we'll go with it. And I'll show you when they come out.
That would be amazing.
Right? When they come out on defense, I'll show you Louis Santop. There's not a lot of photography and not a lot of good photography of some of the Negro League stars. This is the best photo I can find of him. And he looks like the Grinch. He's so mad. And I don't know what happened right before the photo, but it was go time for Louis Santop.
First baseman, Oscar Charleston.
There goes the no-hitter.
Okay, so the Mule legged it out. So appreciate that. He's slow, though. We don't have to worry about him. That guy, Oscar Charleston, is one of their better players.
Shortstop, Willie Wells.
And this guy's a demon. He's our shortstop, and he's got 50 RBI, 70 games into the season, 17 dingers, 301. So throw to second. I forgot to look at Charleston because he can run.
It looks like he's very easily in, huh?
Yeah, I don't think Suttles is coming home, but I don't think I'm throwing when he's 94% safe. You could just easily be in center field.
Yeah.
Fine. I probably should have.
Look at us playing to win for Boston, man.
Right? I probably should
really turn a corner here.
I should have checked him. I should have thrown over. I forgot Charleston's that quick.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Sit down, Willie Wells.
For Birmingham, Willie.
Got a comment for you.
Leading off for Boston, shortstop, Nomar.
The dagger.
Got to stay. He's riding a horse too. I think that probably topped it for Boston fans. But Nomar was red hot the first month of the season, but has cooled a little bit. But still, those are pretty solid numbers there. But not this at bat.
Left fielder.
that hose in shallow left there is throwing me off.
I probably need a new photo, but it's hard to find.
That's a good one. No, it's a good one. Otherwise,
hard to find one that's a good, solid, layout from. And I gotta get enough room behind home plate that we can see the stealing numbers for the guys on first. So
yeah, no,
the worst one is when we get to Montreal. The best photo I found of Olympic Stadium is tilted at like a 2/3 angle. So every fly ball looks like a home run. And they go like this. They go, boo, I guess they hit the roof. I think Darryl Strawberry did that once. Hit the roof in Olympic Stadium. But
we'll have to drop $50 for one of those photo services to see if they have an old school one.
Yeah, help us out. So going around, my man, there's Turkey Stearns in left, who's struggling this year, but getting a start. At least he can catch. Mule Suttles, as you can see, real is what their stats should be on a full season. So Mule can swing it, but he hasn't been. If you look at the replay stats, that's what he's doing in actual Eternal Baseball. This guy, Martin, it's pronounced Dehigo, is fantastic. And his nickname was El Diablo. So he was the devil. So I
look
love
at position eligibility too.
Right.
Wow.
He plays everywhere and he pitches. So you can't get away from it.
But their entire outfield isn't hitting up to expectations.
No.
And they're how many games up are they?
They're up 17 games, and this is an unusual lineup. I'm not sure why the computer's running this today. But Dehigo usually plays second. And Newt Allen doesn't start. Josh Gibson catches. Santop is often the DH or the left fielder. Stearns doesn't play. Suttles doesn't play. Charleston, who's at first, is often the center fielder. That's another reason they're so dangerous, is they've got position eligibility all over the place. So you can mix and match like crazy.
Well, you look at Mule's numbers, that's like having Greg Luzinski out in centers.
Right. So here's Charleston, who stole on us. He's having a pretty good year. Newt Allen doesn't really play. I'm not sure why he's in today. Sometimes it's for rest. So okay, that could be it. Willie Wells has been fantastic. Josh Gibson has not been up to standards, but still real dangerous, especially when you consider he's a great catcher. Rated 9 behind the plate. So, and then here's Mr. Personality. Louis Santop, who's just happy to be here, I guess. So anyway, splendid splinter Ted Williams steps in. I wish he could steal.
Designated hitter,
but he's
Manny
real slow.
Ramirez.
Manny be a Manny. Not quite there.
Center fielder, Carl Yastrzemski.
Close enough. That one might go. It totally went.
Wow.
Look at that.
Look at that decision making.
Even as a Yankee fan,
Number 50.
it hurts me a little bit
Yes.
that Yastrzemski's, it's his grandson, right, is playing outfield for the Giants. Like, don't they have to trade for that guy?
Was he in their system for a while? I'm trying to remember.
I think it came out of Baltimore, I think.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it was like when the Nationals drafted Mariano Rivera's son. I'm like, late too, right? It wasn't like, do we want to spend a first round pick on the legacy pick? It was like 10th or 11th round.
It's like the Mike Piazza pick.
Yeah, most kid didn't turn into anything, but he might have. And anyway, I just kind of want to see Yastrzemski's grandson in Fenway. Of course, I wanted to see Shea Hillenbrand play for the Mets too, right? Walk into Shea Stadium. I mean, come on.
I was running that name through my mind. I was like, Hillenbrand.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Like if you were a big leaguer, I mean, being a big leaguer is good regardless, right? But if somebody played in Rotundi Stadium, I mean, you at least have to make sure your agent gave him a call, right? Like if the money's terrible, no, but
we're peasant stock, Mark. That never was an option.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Hey, look at Mookie.
Dang. Oh,
tattoo in that wall.
Wait.
Oh, Rob helped us out here.
Right. Thanks to the El Nino, which is Spanish for the Nino.
Third baseman, Josh Gibson.
All right. Leadoff walk.
Designated hitter, Buck Leonard.
Leonard's a real good player. Normally the first baseman, but he's DHing tonight for some reason.
Ooh, left fielder.
Almost doubled him off.
Stearns.
It's a damn shame that they're playing. If they were going to go to the bench, one of the best names ever, Cool Papa Bell, is on the bench for the Birmingham Knights, who is Buck O'Neill described him as being so fast he could flip the switch and be in bed before the light turned out. So
I love it.
He's a real good defensive player and a great pinch runner. But it's, again, hard to crack their outfield, too, because there's so much talent out there.
I'm going to subject my kids to that
Martin.
documentary at some point here.
Oh, yeah. So good. And that's where Buck O'Neill really got famous. I mean, truly famous, right? Because he was such a good storyteller. All right, so it was a single. Throw to third. I don't know if Mookie or Yaz got that, but they both have great arms. So I say do it.
Let's do it, man.
Second
Wow.
baseman.
Such a poor decision, Mark.
We're being so reckless with our 2-0 lead. I'm not afraid of Newt Allen with 2 outs. So take that, Newt. That's why you don't play usually.
ASU.
Number 15.
Let's go Devils.
Pedroia.
Well,
First baseman, M.O. Vaughn.
They call him M.O. Vaughn.
M.O. Vaughn. Yeah.
Jason
I like that.
Varitek.
And Jason Varitek.
Bartek.
I know he won a title
No mark.
and was the
Garcia Parra.
captain. I mean, they put a C on his jersey, for God's sake, which was embarrassing. But once he punched A-Rod in the face, I think he pretty much punched his ticket as Boston legend forever. So
They put up with the whole cowboy up thing, right? As a result.
yeah. Yep.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Look
the
at
beat is
M.O.
up.
Vaughn, man.
M.O. Vaughn getting it done. Boston's got the momentum right now.
Well played, Weber.
Like that? Oh, look at Ted. I thought it was going to be a double play.
Catcher, Lewis.
Oh, it's the last out
Santop.
anyway. Okay. So here's Louis Santop, Mr. Personality. Known for his limericks, I'm told, and his clubhouse haiku. Well, now he's, imagine how mad he is now.
It just looks like he sees someone in the distance talking to his girlfriend or something, right? Like, it's just like, let's get this going.
Yep, absolutely. Mule.
First baseman, Oscar Charleston.
Oh.
Nah, Mookie drops nothing. Like,
Designated hitter, Manny Ramirez.
you know that shot Roy Hobbs hit in the natural I think Mookie would have caught that. Like anything towards right. It doesn't matter.
I would have loved for him to have stayed at second to see what
he played a little at
Center
the bigs,
fielder,
right? Or did they put
Yeah,
him right
that's
in the
I mean that's
outfield?
what he was coming up, right? Didn't they change it?
Yeah.
I mean, primarily played the outfield once he came up.
I mean, I guess it was Pedroia, right? Still had that position.
Yeah, I mean you're not going
Sort
to put
of.
Petroia, but yeah, it's interesting that I mean there's always some like with the COVID stuff they were talking about. Even the Dodgers were going to thinking about putting him there in certain situations again.
I'm sure with a little work you could still handle it, right?
Oh, for sure, sure.
But God, he's so good in the outfield. It's hard to say that he's more valuable in right than he would have been at second. But God, he's so good in the outfield. All right, Yaz. Well,
right fielder.
at least we had a takeout slide from Manny.
There you go.
Second
Like to
base.
see it. Look at that effort.
He got that. Oh, somebody's hurt.
Third baseman, Wade, Boggs.
Betts tweaked a hamstring and is leaving the game.
Oh.
Well, we hope it's not serious. So with Mookie out, let's see what our options are here.
I'll let you sort this. I'll be right back.
Okay. With Mookie out, it's I think almost assuredly JD Martinez here. He's our only other outfielder right now, and he slides right into right field. So it's not even much of a decision to make. So JD, welcome to the ball game.
Martinez is the new runner at first.
So there really was no decision. There's only one other outfielder. So with Manny already DHing. So it's JD Martinez back in the lineup after we benched him. So good for him.
This might be an old comment, but let's do it. Who do we have? We can hit and run, man.
I'll hit and run if you want, but I'm not sending JD Martinez as a DH fresh off the bench.
Yeah, let's let Boggs swing away, I guess.
All right. See, look at you. You're a savant. And
second baseman.
It's been said a million times,
Pedroia.
but nobody goes first to third like JD Martinez.
That man could take that turn.
Got some wheels. All right, Sun Devil. Yeah, he hit it to the wrong guy.
Shortstop, Willie Wells.
But Rogers cruising along here. Wells is dangerous, though, so keep an eye on him. Oh, missing right. Well, I'm not missing him, Bob, but I just have to say that that's where he's going to play. Okay.
Third baseman, Josh Gibson.
Here's Gibson. I'm always expecting Gibson to break out with like a 5-hit, 3-homer game. So maybe not tonight though. But there he goes.
Designated hitter, Buck Leonard.
Wow, he can fly too. Huh?
Yeah. I'm not to show I'm not just clicking pitch and hit over and over again. We'll try some pickoffs here to keep Josh Gibson under control. That's better.
Nice.
Good thing too that he wasn't running.
Fielder, Turkey Stearns.
Let's see if he lives up to his name.
Turkey.
Oh no! So 1 run's in. The tying run is going to try to come home. 12% chance to get him. Ted's arm isn't great, I don't think. No, a 4.
Terrible.
I don't think that's worth it. Maybe we can throw to third and hold the runner. But
That's good. Yeah, I agree with it. That makes sense.
Fine.
Right fielder,
tied up.
Martin Diego.
And here's El Diablo. You know what? We can pitch around him or put him on and go after Allen next if we want. But we do have 2, 3, 4 coming up after that.
But Santop's, or I guess, he's having a good year, huh?
He's okay.
He's pretty good. Yeah.
Diego's not great, but Newt Allen doesn't even play normally. So he's a real weak sauce.
Yeah, pitch around him.
But we could, I don't know. All right, we'll pitch around El Diablo. He'll give us a nice little lazy fly ball to center.
Second baseman, Nude, Allen.
And now we'll go get Newt. Look at that.
You're not going to get that by M.O. Vaughn. Come on.
Right?
Man.
It's just such an easy game, right? So simple. All right, M.O. Oh, look at that.
Oh, did he get there? Yeah, dude. M.O. Vaughn.
Just keep going, Mo.
Let's send him, man. We're on a roll.
All right, Varitek. Oh, you know what?
Shortstop.
Okay, good.
Nomar, Garcia Parra.
Because if they'd have turned 2, I would have advocated taking that C off of his jersey. That was the dumbest thing I ever saw. Like, baseball captains are kind of dumb anyway, right? But they put a C on his jersey, man. Like,
it was either him or Kevin Pillar, man.
Oh, I'm telling you.
As a Yankee fan, I don't know which one you would have preferred more.
I think Varitek thought it stood for
Left
catcher.
fielder, Ted Williams.
All right, Ted. Well,
Designated
pretty
hitter,
much the
Manny
only thing that
Ramirez.
stopped Ted Williams was armed conflict, right? Like, if there was a war, he kind of had to go do his thing. But beyond that, all right. So Manny, being Manny, we hope. Well, that's got a chance.
Whoa, it's got a
Oh boy,
boom.
look at that.
Wow. That's a pretty good squad, man.
Yeah, it's a good team. I forget which game it was. There was some game the Red Sox, I think, lost that had a back-breaking home run over the monster all the way out of the stadium. And they said that the start of the article said the irony that, it wasn't a Yankee, that Orioles slugger Eddie Murray's home run was framed by the "See It Go" sign in left. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's some good writing right there. So that signal sign's been there forever and probably always will be. But I thought that was a good point. Nope.
Catcher, Lewis, Santop.
Santop, not thrilled with how the game has gone.
Center
Yeah.
fielder,
Here's another comment.
Suttles.
Fair enough. Yeah, Mule.
First
That's
baseman,
why you don't play that
Oscar
much, Mule.
Charleston. Right fielder, number 28, JD Martinez.
Fresh off the bench. And reminding us why he doesn't play against lefties.
Wade Boggs. Second baseman, Dustin Pedroia.
All right.
There we go.
Maybe a little
First
rally
baseman.
time here.
M.O. Vaughn.
Let's go to MO time.
Right. 2 for 2. Mo is singled and singled. Infield single for Mo Vaughn. Like,
That's just good hustle, man.
it must have just got embedded in the dirt, right? Or stuck in the turf. But good for you, Mo.
Give him credit for the hustle.
I suppose.
Catcher, Jason Varitek.
Varitek.
Captain Jason Varitek.
Captain
Shortstop,
Varitek strikes out.
Willie Wells.
Here's a guy I keep telling you about who hasn't done anything. Struck out, line to short. Struck out.
Third baseman, Josh Gibson. Designated hitter, Buck Leonard.
So wait, we got a buck, we got a turkey, we got a mule, and a newt, Got newt out. Wait a minute. It's a zoological lineup today.
Left fielder, Turkey Stearns.
All right, turkey. There we go.
Shortstop, Nomar, Garcia.
Good job,
Parra.
Wade. Foster's at 100 pitches, but he can throw up to 145. All these old school guys have pitch counts like 150 and 145 max. So, just another era, but.
Left fielder,
I'm,
Ted
not,
Williams.
I'm still shaking my head at Mule Suttles in center field. He's rated a 2.
Yeah,
With
that's
a-
strange. I
with a
think we're gonna catch a
3-arm.
break on something with him. I think.
Like, look at Charleston over here. He's a better center fielder than he is a first baseman. But anyway. It doesn't have the distance.
Get out.
Designated hitter, Manny Ramirez.
Do you think Ted Williams ever popped out like that in the history of his
Right?
career?
I just like looking at the dynamic. Can you
Right fielder,
imagine
Martin.
Ted
Diablo.
Williams sitting next to Manny Ramirez in a dugout? Right? I mean, I don't think that's maybe that's the pitch for a buddy cop show.
There you go.
But I'm not seeing it. All right, here's El Diablo, who got a lot of that. Not quite.
Second baseman, Nude Allen.
Clemens is at 112 pitches out of a max of 135. So he's definitely good for this inning,
He's still very strong.
right?
Just keep
The
him
Rocket. Just give him a minute in the bathroom, and he'll come back, feeling younger and stronger than ever.
Catcher,
Look at Nude
Lewis
Allen,
Santop.
legging it out. Louis Santop, keenly aware that he's 0 for 3.
I have to say with Clemens, even more so than the steroid rumors. The thing that bothered me the most was the dye jobs occasionally that he'd show up with the frosted tips.
Frosted tips, yeah, it's not a good look.
Those never quite worked for me.
Well, and I know Red Sox fans were just ripped at him, even though we didn't know the potential of PED use. The fact that he had 2 disappointing years by his standards in Boston, and then they let him go, and then he showed up in Toronto in ridiculous shape and was just, out of control in their own division. Like, it's the girlfriend you dumped who went, you know what, I'm going to the gym all summer.
Yeah.
I'll see you fall semester. Yeah, I see it. I think we maybe need to get somebody ready up there in that pen.
Can Boyd.
Right? I wish we had a oil can. So there aren't a lot of pure relievers, but there are some starters who are available. Tiant pitches out of the bullpen for Boston.
Didn't he burn us last time, though?
He's had a rough year. He has not thrown well. So we're going to stay away from him. Matter of fact, let's close this and look at Boston pitchers and see how they're doing this year, actually. So Papelbon's been insanely good. Ellis Kinder's been really good. Burgmeier's been a little below average. So Kinder and Papelbon are the 2 absolute guys. Burgmeier's our best lefty. And everyone else we should probably stay away from.
So you're thinking Kinder?
Yeah, I think I don't honestly know how to pronounce his name. The computer will tell us, though.
Computer doesn't miss.
Right? Let's see what we got. Seeing by the time we get in trouble if it might be Leonard and Stearns down here, but yeah, I think Kinder's probably there. Well, we can warm them both up and see where we're at if Clemens gets in trouble. So Burgmeier and Kinder. Okay. All right, here we go. Now Santop can run, so we're gonna hold him back a little bit. I love that the fake the first throw to, or fake the third throw the first thing is not even an option, right? Because they know it's never worked ever. So it's It's just a time waster. Although it would be great to, get our bullpen guys.
That should be the lone like graphic that this game provides. Is
Right.
that step?
It gets our two bullpen guys 30 more seconds to throw pitches, but fine. Oh, it could be two.
First baseman, Oscar.
So Allen
Charleston.
scored on that.
He scored, yeah.
And we got Charleston up. And
So they didn't even give us a chance to make the decision, huh?
no, he just went. I guess second was his only play. Went on contact, I guess. But on a ground ball to pitcher, you would think.
Or did that go to the pitcher or did it get through to the
I guess
middle
that's a good
infielder?
point. I thought it went to Clemens. But if we take a mound trip, Clemens is still strong. All right, but both our pitchers are ready. Jeez. I love it when you look at old school numbers here, right? I want to see if lefty batting Oscar Charleston has a split differential to notice, right? So, yeah, he hits 373 off right-handers, but he really scuffles against lefties at 357. Like, so do we pull? Clemens has only got 15 pitches left in him. Are we pulling the rocket? No? All right.
No. Home run.
Two down. Hey, look.
Stremska.
And we get serenaded.
It's nice one of our pitching decisions actually worked out.
Do you think they played us not in the seventh inning, but whenever we make a good bullpen decision?
We would never hear this tune, Mark,
We
if that was the case.
only hear it once a game. All right. I'm just enjoying the serenade.
Little flourish at the end there.
Big finish. All right, you Stremsky. Let's see it. Very nice.
Right fielder, JD. Martinez.
JD, not much of a bunter. So we'll see what we get here. Oh, look at that. I love that Yastrzemski took it personal. He was 24%. They threw over. Now he's 26. So he's like one half step further towards second, right?
If we had 2 outs.
That's got some juice. Not quite.
Third baseman, Wade. Vaughn.
Usually they would say he really got on his horse, right? But he's a mule. So
The mule.
anyway, Mule Suttles.
I wonder if I started calling my son that, if that would
I mean, you give it young enough, that becomes her nickname. My daughter's name is Elizabeth. I called her Biz when she was like 3 and she liked it. And that's what she still is. So it could happen. You could have Mule Rotundi if you want. Turkey Rotundi.
Mule, go set the table.
Hey, Mule! What did I tell you about that? Oh, Turkey with a problem.
Second baseman, Dustin Pedroia.
So Turkey mishandled it, allowed the runners to take it.
We got a comment here. Let's see.
I'm trying. Back off. Okay. Sun Devil.
First baseman.
Oh, they put him on.
Mo.
They put him on to pitch to Mo.
They're gonna. Oh man, that's so disrespectful.
You know, they're setting up the double play, but
There's not gonna be a double play. This is going in the seats.
Willie Foster's on pitch 125, and I know
This is
he's
it.
old school.
This is the game, Mark, right here. This is it.
Nope. But the sack fly, 81%. Send him.
Send him.
Go, Yastrzemski. Yeah, not even close.
Catcher, Jason Varitek.
All right, Varitek. That's not a shot. Hey,
Shortstop,
Turkey.
Willie Wells.
All right.
Clemens is fine. It's like you're in a fight with your girlfriend.
All right. How are you? Fine. He's got 10 pitches left before he collapses. So Wells is actually better against righties and lefties. I think it might be pen time. Or do you want every drop of Roger Clemens possible?
Let's do one more batter.
All right. Him against Willie. See?
Mark, you got to keep me in check, man. This is
Josh.
when you have to push back.
What do you think you're here for, Weber? You know what? We could let him. Here we go. I'll go double the insanity. We could let him pitch to Gibson with a 3-run lead just in case the unthinkable happens, and then bring in Burgmeier to face the 2 lefties.
Yes.
All right.
No.
Oh,
I
no.
changed my mind.
Oh, no. It didn't work, but it stayed in the park.
Designated hitter.
All right, Tom.
All right.
Leonard. Pitching for Boston, Tom Burgmeier.
Let's see, Burgmeier. So he was what, 70s? Early
Think
80s?
so,
Yeah. All right.
He's got a really angular jaw there, man.
That is it. Chiseled, I'd even
Right?
say.
Making animated Batman is like, wow.
Who is this guy?
Right? Space Ghost is like
Space Ghost.
pretty impressive, Tom Burgmeier. Oh, no.
Oh, man, it's slipping away, Weber.
Fielder, Turkey.
I'm not going to feel bad about this because I had 2 guys ready, right?
And I wouldn't let you do it. This is on me.
Stirs. All right, this is Burgmeier's last guy, though. He's going to score one, though.
Right
All right.
fielder, Martin Diablo.
He's done.
Pitching for Boston, Ellis Kinder.
I don't want to get Papelbon ready yet. Maybe one more batter because I don't want him to burn out in the pen if we don't need him. So Ellis Kinder.
Let's take a look at Kinder real fast. Kinder.
Looking like 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know him. I think he's actually a starter who doesn't fit in their top 5.
Looks like he's wagering on some horses right now.
Look at his numbers though on the replay. Guys are hitting 135 off of him.
Nice.
2 walks per 9 strikeouts. Ellis Kinder, let's see it. All right.
Second baseman,
Oh man, we're being ridiculed.
It goes around. If they don't pinch hit for Newt Allen, I think Birmingham fans should protest the game. This 154, right? 2 runners on, bottom of the 8th or top of the 8th.
He's like at 170 pitches.
Yeah. Look at this. Well, he grounded out to first, second, and short. If he can ground out to third, that's some kind of cycle, right? All right. They let him hit. That's ridiculous.
shortstop, Nomar Garcia Parra.
All right, man.
I guess Willie Foster's never coming out of this game. I am heartened that we found a computer opponent we're a better manager than, because lots of trouble for Birmingham.
I don't know. For a second there, I thought you were talking about the pitcher, and I forgot that we were in the American League, so I made some comment about the pitch count.
Right?
It was just like your Yankees anecdote, right, where you just kept going.
Yeah, just keep rolling. Just keep rolling, man.
It's not even late here. I have no excuses.
I almost
Designated
forgot.
hitter, Manny Ramirez.
We got to warm up Papelbon here.
I'm so glad you're running the software, man, because my eyes just glaze over with all these changes and everything.
I'm still mad about last week, man, when I pinch hit.
Dude, if I was running the show, man, it would be so much worse than that.
I can't believe I pinch hit that guy when I wanted to pinch run him. And, of course, I think he grounded out. I didn't strike out, but anyway.
I'd start the inning with, there'd be, 2 empty spots in the outfield.
Santop.
All right, Papelbon's ready. I think you got to bring him in, yeah?
Yes. Okay. We're going old. Yeah, just start the inning, finish the inning.
He's been incredible on the year. And that's another guy Red Sox fans soured on. And he was a jackass anyway. I mean, let's be honest. But he was,
well, sorry.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Well, we got a mule. we got a mule. We got a Newt. Now we got a jackass. But he was so good for Boston. But once he
had
went
some
to
good
Philly,
years.
even Dropkick Murphys turned on him, right?
Did
And
he
said,
really?
they said you can't use our song for your entrance music anymore. Not here in Philly. So, and then he was bad in Philly. So imagine those kind, forgiving Philadelphia fans, right? When they paid a lot of money for the closer and he stunk. All right. So birthday party
cheerful
clown
Santop.
Louis Santop digs in. Oh, all right. So
Always
Martinez,
dive.
sometimes when they dive, if they don't get it, it just means it's a single, right? It doesn't mean, inside the park home run. So we have 54% chance with a not terribly athletic JD Martinez out in right field. You're saying dive?
I'm saying you should probably keep me in check and
Leadoff single.
have him just shack the ball for a double.
Right? All right, we're not going to dive. He can have his single.
Center fielder, Mule Suttles.
But we're not going to let him steal. So we'll get those numbers down a little bit. Man! Oh, I thought it went back up to 82. All right, 62. Suttles at the plate. Oh, boy. It's hard because they disappear in that corner, right? You can't see them.
Charleston.
Santop so wants to steal, but we're not going to let him. All right. Charleston. That could be it. There's one.
It's happening. We did it.
Time to break new ground, right? Yay, the Red Sox won. So there we go. If you're going to blame anybody,
from Fenway Park, Boston 6, Birmingham 4. Roger Clemens picks up the win.
Look at Ellis.
Now 9 and 4.
Man, he was
Willie Foster picks up the loss. He is now 8 and 4.
dealing tonight.
Papa gets the save. Number 13. Carl Yastrzemski hit home run number 11 on the season. Manny Ramirez hit number 15. Time of the game, 3 hours, 16 minutes.
Felt longer, but okay. But yeah, if you look down, Burgmeier was going to have a good day because he's got the plus sign under the stuff. Kinder, the 2. It's only his first hold. Burgmeier must be setting up more often. Papelbon, but Papelbon was a little below average, or was going to be, but didn't affect him. I'm still a little mystified by the lineup choices and the fact that they let Newt Allen hit at 143 with runners on first and second, down 2 in the bottom of the 8th or top of the 8th.
I think it was just to spite you.
He must know. Yeah, I know. He must know somebody, right? Like Newt Allen. Yeah, that'll be a far different lineup tomorrow for Birmingham, I think. But they do take 2 out of 3 in Boston. But this is a big win for the Red Sox, not just to salvage a game of the series, but they enter. This is the first game on Monday's schedule. They entered play tied for the East lead. And they've had at least a piece of the East lead for 2 months, I think. So, this is a good solid win for the Red Sox. So give it up for Roger Clemens, Red Sox fans. I know you love him. But he has been Boston's ace this year and had another good game today. So there you go. It's another Sunday Night Baseball. Hope you guys enjoyed the Eternal Baseball podcast. As always, you can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, but especially at eternalbaseball.com, where the daily scoreboard goes live midday every day, and the box scores go up on our team-specific message boards. If you see something you don't like, if you're a Birmingham fan and you're not thrilled with Newt Allen stinking it up at leadoff at 143, give us a shout on the message board. It's very receptive. We want every team to be as competitive as possible. So if something's wrong, let us know and we'll fix it. As we've said before, an enterprising Diamondback fan already sniffed out 2 things that we tweaked legitimately And the Diamondbacks have had a pretty good year. So maybe you can help your team out. So check it out and let us know. Other than that, I think we're all wrapped up on Mother's Day. Make sure to thank your mom, thank your wife if you got kids. And
thank our wives. Yep.
Yeah, we thank our wives for letting us screw around online and play some baseball tonight. So,
if you know our wives, thank them for us.
Yeah, exactly. Tell them that you really appreciate it because you love the show so much. We'll be back next week with at least one team that hasn't been on the Sunday night game of the week. Hopefully two. Depends on how the schedule shakes out. So I'm Mark Weber. He's Brent Rotundi.
Oh, sorry. Was I supposed to cook?
That's the pitch.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We'll see you next week.